Welcome to That Squirrel Speaks. Today is, I don't know, but it's April 25th. It's a Friday. I am Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry, Blue Sky, the Fat SQRR on Instagram. My pronouns are she, her, they, them. Thanks for coming over. It's very rainy, but yesterday was one of the, well, I feel like it was the first time we had like one of those cloud bursts in the afternoon. It had not been rainy at all day. It was like super blue skies. There was no rain in the forecast, but we had like one of those afternoon rainstorms that just like is very localized. Like we went, like we were driving, like we had come out into the rainstorm, which was very unexpected. And then we were driving somewhere and like we drove half a mile from where we were, and it had no rain, so it was like one of those like very small, like intense rain bursts. And it was, I think, the first time this year that I got the petrichor smell, so that was really nice. I hope you get that this spring, or I've already had it this spring. It was so good. That's, oh, if you don't know what that is, that's that very specific smell that happens after a rain. For me, it happens usually when it's a little bit warmer. Like it doesn't really happen like a winter rain because it's all to do with like soil microbes and stuff, which are probably less active in colder weather. But that just like that unnameable smell that's like so unique. It's not like any other smell. Anyway, so that's what that is. But so I hope you get to experience that, or you notice it. I hope you notice it. When you get that the first time this year. Even if it's already happened and you just notice it, doesn't matter. The first time you notice it, I hope you notice it and like get to feel it and be like, yes, that is the thing that we weird meat sacks have been smelling for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. And like that connects us to deep, deep human time. And like, the scale is all crazy, and like we have so much going for us. Let's do the best with it that we can, but also rest. That's also the best with it. Doesn't mean always doing it. Also means resting and just enjoying it. And okay, this is what happens when you don't make notes for your podcast. Like I don't get on tangents all the other times we do this thing. I do if you're new, 100%. So very first off, let's talk about shameless self-promotion. So I will have a shop update May 1st, 9 p.m. Eastern, fatsquirrelfibers.com. I am still working on the last round of pre-orders, so those, if you've made one of those, thank you. They are in the queue still. This update. So these are gonna all be the tabbed drawstring bags because y'all have been really excited about those, and then I'm excited that you're excited. So the first one is this awesome, these are all a linen canvas exterior, and these all have a linen cotton interior. So these amazing, I mean, like, I love these guys so much. And then the interior is this super cute, like homespunny vibe. Ugh. Delicious. And then I have this beautiful one, which reminds me so much of like those big showy tree blossoms this time of year. With just like this little bit of like such a nice warm olive and golden in there. And then these are lined with that gold sort of color. This buttery, very buttery gold. So there's that guy. And then I have this super cute, right? This super cute granny square print. And are you ready for the inside? Pow, hopping, like that. So those are super fun. I guess I didn't show you. These are the ones that drawstring like this. So they're perfect for a one skein project. That's where they shine. So I have that guy. And then last one, I have That is fabric of my heart. This ochre with this soft peachy pinky petal, strawberry with the white straw. Oh, it's so gorgeous. And then it has a cacao peach in lining, like a melba. Ooh. So isn't she fun? Ugh. So I've really enjoyed working on all of these, and they will be available May 1st, 9 p.m. Eastern at squirrelfibers.com. Okay, so this week is going to be a little bit shorter. I know I say that and then it's not, but this time it is. I have no shenanigans. I'm really wiped. I had individual therapy yesterday and couples therapy, and I'm pretty wiped. It was a big individual therapy where I literally said at the end of it, so now I have to go drive a car? So this is just stretched a little thin. So I have no shenanigans, but I do have a few projects to share with you. So I have started, I don't know if you recall, a while back I did one of the Stacy Nash animal crackers. Yes. And ultimately I gave that to my mom, but I have recently started stitching on this one. And this is Harrison, and I just think he is so charming. She also has a little bunny that's in a dress who's like shorter and rounder, and I also really love that one. But I think maybe that one hadn't come out yet when I bought these. But I'm working on this. I'm using the called for threads, and then I am also using the called for fabric, which is 35 count Weeks Dye Works in the corn silk colorway. So here are the colors. Most of these animal crackers patterns are a pretty muted palette. There are a few that are, I think almost like a circusy ones, and they're less, but most of them are pretty muted. So I have gotten the green of his sweater stitched, and I have just started on the yellow. So that kind of gives you an idea of the scale. He's not particularly small. He's actually kind of a big guy. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. These are a great stitching project. If you do like, I mean, you could knit them on any linen gauge you wanted to. But they are a nice project that there's something nice about doing a solid fill. Like there's a little bit less stress for like when you're counting spaces, because that tends to be where my things get whacked out. So you're having less of that like counting of spaces between things and more of just like filling with stitches. So it feels less county in some ways. To my brain, maybe to nobody else's. And then you also get these really nice things where like I pretty much now just get to fill in this sweater with this yellow color. So like that's another nice thing to have, like blocks where you're not having to think as much or count as much, where you can sort of just like enjoy the stitching and the focusing of your eyeballs. So I'm working on that. And then also in stitching, this is technically needlepoint, but feels also like cross stitch. I actually finished this a while ago and just forgot to show it to you. I had purchased this kit. I believe this designer is Baldyre or Baldyre, B-A-L-D-Y-R-E, you can see right there. And these do not seem to be available domestically in the United States. I purchased this kit from, I think Denmark, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was from Denmark. And this designer or this design company I really like their vibe. I really like their aesthetic. They have mostly, from what I can see, they mostly have like these little pouches and then like pillow kits. But one of them is like, they all feel sort of like quilty or like bargello-y, or they're like not pictorial. There we go. They're graphics. And so like one of them I really liked is all half square triangles, or it's like all triangles. And it's just like a pick a mix color. Like it's just a ton of different colors, but they are really just warm and lush, and it's just beautiful. And so I've been tempted to maybe get the pillow kit, but also not. I don't know if I really enjoyed the stitching. I did enjoy the stitching, but it is very time consuming. Oh, but look at how good that looks. So good. Some things look even better on camera, I think, than they do in real life. I try not to do that with like product that I sell. But like this lighting is just really good for her. She's having a glow up. Look at that. So this is what I would say is maybe like a light fingering weight wool, and it was woolen spun, and it was just really, it was dyed in the wool. So like there was like heathering and flecking and things like that in the yarn itself. And it was just, I really liked it. So I would not hesitate to buy another one of their kits. I do wish they were available domestically, because Lord knows I don't even know what's going on with our, I'm hesitant to buy anything that's going to come in from outside this hot mess's borders at this point, but it's just lovely. And this kit came, like it came with the actual materials. This is my zipper, partly because I lost the zipper and partly because I do really like the zippers I use on my zipper bags. They're the best zippers. And I had this amazing color, right? But it came with like the lining fabric, and the backing fabric is really nice too. It's like a brushed canvas, and it has just a really nice hand feel, or a nice surface texture. So I am really liking that. It's so pretty. I need to use it. I've just been like having it sit, but I need to actually start using it because it's pretty. And then the only other thing I have to show you is in knitting. I have not finished anything, and I actually have not cast on anything new. I thought, quite frankly, I would definitely have cast on my new hat, but that also did not happen. So I want to show you something that I have been working on. A while back, I started the Aloft shawl, which is by Becca, B-E-K-A-H Knits. And I believe this shawl is available in like the 52 Weeks of Shawls pattern book, but it is also available as like a standalone Ravelry. Sorry, we just got like much darker all of a sudden. So let me try to account for that. Still kind of dark. Thanks for being patient. So yeah, so it is available individually as well. And I purchased last year when I was at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool, I purchased this Ridge fingering from Utopia Yarns. The colorway is Radioactive. It's 200 yards for 50 grams, and it's woolen spun, and so this is the yarn that my pig's sweater is made out of. Yeah, she's in the dark right there, but that's what color her sweater is. So I've cast this shawl on for a long time. It really laid dormant for quite a while, but I have been knitting on it more and more over the last few weeks, and I have just recently started this sort of like last lace patterning, and I'm feeling like, ooh, I'm really enjoying working on it. I mean, every time I pick it up, I do enjoy knitting on it. It's just, yeah, I don't know, maybe because it's been a longer term project, I haven't felt that like urgency to work on it, maybe. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it so far, and I think it's gonna be delicious. It does have bobbles. I know, controversial. But when I picked out the yarn for this, I really was in a mood to make bobbles. This happens like once every 15 years, I think. Where I was like, I need something with bobbles. What? But I do like it. I know, bobbles are very controversial, but there's not a ton of them. There's only there's only, what, 4 rows of them? Yeah, there's 4 rows of them in the whole shawl, so even if you're not a huge fan of bobbles, A, you wouldn't have to do them, but B, there's not that many. So yeah, I've enjoyed working on that this week. Okay, so in what I'm reading, I finished The Mystery of the Crooked Man by Tom Spencer, and I listened to that on audiobook from my library. And here's the description. Cantankerous archivist Agatha Dorn is having a bad day. Overlooked for a promotion and barely making ends meet as it is, Agatha gets her lucky break when she discovers a lost manuscript of Gladden Green, the queen of Golden Age detective fiction. Agatha Christie. Agatha sets out to publish it with great fanfare, and in doing so becomes a star, a literary mini-celebrity, giving speeches, signing autographs, and speaking on podcasts. But as is often the way with Agatha, it soon unravels in spectacular fashion. Okay, so I didn't read the rest of the description because I feel like it just starts to give, like, too much information away. I swear, it is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and when I started, we were having relatively decent lighting. So I checked this out from my library. It was acceptable. It's one of those where I didn't love the main character. And so I just felt like it was sort of hard to... I mean, I cannot like a main character and still feel empathy with her and still like go through the experience with her. But I don't know, I just wasn't drawn in a way, and I kept finding myself being like, wait, what happened? Like, I just was not invested enough to really like stay with her. So I found that I had to like re-listen to the first, like I would have to go back a couple of chapters. I had to do that pretty frequently, which is not something I necessarily have to do that often. So yeah, I don't know if that was just like maybe the writing style, if it was my lack of movement through the book with her. I don't know what it was, but I can't put like my thumb on something that I didn't like about the book necessarily, but I just kind of was left feeling like, yeah. So again, that's The Mystery of the Crooked Man by Tom Spencer. So I was in the need for like a good, like pulpy, like pull me through the book. Like I just needed a nice ride, kind of an experience. So I re-listened to the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, which is a book by Grady Hendrix. And so the synopsis of that is Patricia Campbell's life has never felt smaller. Her husband is a workaholic. Her teenage kids have their own lives. Her senile mother-in-law needs constant care, and she's always a step behind on her endless to-do list. The only thing keeping her sane is her book club, a close-knit group of Charleston women united by their love of true crime. At these meetings, they're as likely to talk about the Manson family as they are about their own families. One evening after book club, Patricia is viciously attacked by an elderly neighbor, bringing the neighbor's handsome nephew, James Harris, into her life. James is well-traveled and well-read, and he makes Patricia feel things she hasn't felt in years. But when children on the other side of town go missing, their deaths written off by local police, Patricia has a reason to believe James Harris is more of a Bundy than a Brad Pitt. The real problem? James is a monster of a different kind, and Patricia has already invited him in. So yeah, this is one of those, I feel like people either really like this book or really don't like this book. Trigger warnings are like bad stuff happens to children. There is an undercurrent of sexual violence. And in fact, like it does sometimes, it's sort of, I think I read a complaint that somebody said like the vampirism doesn't really add to the story very much, that it really does, like you could effectively slot in like a sexual predator of some other ilk, like equally, like they could be interchangeable almost. To a certain extent, I mean, I could see that point of view, but at the same time, like there is something much safer about reading about those kinds of violences when it's a fictional, like a made up entity. Like, and I think that adds like a very big layer of like buffer between the reader and the violence that is not always appreciated, but I really appreciate. I do like this book, and for some reason it feels sort of like a comfort read in ways. I don't know why. That was not a part of my therapy session the other day. But again, that's the Southern Book Club Guides to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. And so then the last book I want to talk about is a book that I have not finished and probably will not finish. That is The Privatization of Everything by Donald Cohen and Alan Michalian. Oh my goodness. Michalian, I'm going to say. This book is too much for me right now. It is, I think it's something that I want to know more about. It's something, like, I had really not thought about privatization in a very deep way, other than just sort of like being vaguely uneasy about it, until a few months ago when I started to sort of like research tiny bits more here and there. It's just too much terribleness. It's not like the level of, I mean, like, whatever. Right? It's not that terrible. I mean, it's just too much for me right now, and it's too dark. It's too The book about vampires is comforting, but this book is too dark. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is too real and too dark. Give me a vampire that does scary stuff. That's okay right now. This, not okay. But I am mentioning it because I do think it's a really, like, I've read about a third of it, and I do think it's useful, and I think that I might be able to come back to it later when it's not as raw feeling. But I'm just not there right now. They talk about everything from just sort of like the slow creep of privatization and how that has sort of developed. Then they talk specifically about different things, about like the USDA, about social safety net stuff, about like parks and community resources and things like that. And then they also talk about like science and research. So yeah. Everything, The Privatization of Everything, Donald Cohen and Alan Michalian. Thanks for sticking with me through the potentially distracting ambient noise of people driving in the rain. We are in a place where the weather is warm enough that it's kind of hard to sit with the windows closed. So it has gotten louder as we've recorded. So thanks for sticking with me. If you have, I really appreciate you. Yeah. I hope you can enjoy some rain. I hope you get a nice moment of deep time with the petrichor, and I hope you enjoy what you're stitching, and I hope you can rest, and yeah, thanks a lot. And I'll talk next time.